Hey everybody, Dave Lerner. We're talking about what's working today. Our guest is Andrew Richet. He's the founder of Personal Democracy Media, and he's the chairman of New York Tech Meetup. Andrew, it's great to have you on the show. Thank you.
Great to see you, Dave.
So I'd like to start with something that happened quite recently. SOPA and PIPA, two efforts by Congress to regulate the internet in some way. Tell us the story of that.
The copyright industry had convinced Congress by spending an awful lot of money on lobbying that they should pass bills that would severely limit the ability of the internet to remain open and as a platform for innovation. And the internet community as a whole started to protest. But the New York Tech community, which is now represented mostly by the New York Tech Meetup, which is 20,000 members, basically sent a note out to its membership to come out and protest those two bills in front of Senator Schumer's and Gillibrand's offices. And within 3 days, 2,000 people showed up. The next day, Congress pulled those bills from consideration.
Since I've been an entrepreneur in New York City, I've never seen the tech ecosystem mobilize like this. What's happening?
Well, first of all, the internet is now much more mature than it was 10 years ago. Everybody's using it. But the other thing that's happening is that people are starting to realize that the systems of whether it be business or whether it be government that were designed and were very successful in the 20th century are now being challenged and replaced by networks. And those networks don't particularly care for top-down hierarchies. They don't particularly care about nation-state borders. They don't really care about diplomatic channels. They care about connectivity. They care about openness. They care about trust. And those networks are starting to challenge authority.
Are we at a crossroads where this is going to be basically a battle that's being waged about control of the internet?
I think what we're seeing is a battle between the 20th century and the 21st century. And there's really kind of a new human being that we can point to today, which I like to call the internet public. And so whether it's the protests of the Arab Spring or whether it's the Occupy Wall Street movement or even the Tea Party movement, people are using social media and the internet to organize themselves, to gather their voices and to challenge authority. And the authorities now are starting to realize that these forces have been unleashed, and they're trying to put the genie back in the bottle.
Now, you run an organization called Personal Democracy Media. You guys are at the middle of all this. What do you guys actually do?
So Personal Democracy Media is a publishing company and a conference company that basically educates people about the intersection of technology, politics, government, and advocacy. We've been around for about 8 years. We created a platform that invites both Republicans and Democrats, or people from all different kinds of political persuasions, to talk about the impact of technology on society.
What, if any, should be the regulations on the internet?
The internet, first of all, provides a fantastic opportunity for some self-regulation because people on the internet will use a service if they trust it. And if they don't think the service is trustworthy, they'll leave. On the other hand, we do need to have some provisions that protect the public and also protect the free market. And for example, we have a duopoly of broadband providers, whether it be AT&T, Verizon, or Comcast, or Time Warner, that basically have created a duopoly that limits the amount of competition around broadband deployment, and so we're paying way too much for broadband, which is, preventing us from being able to participate in the 21st century economy.
Andrew, you do a lot of deep thinking on this issue. Share with us what you think the world is going to look like in 20 years.
What I see is, 7-8 billion people connected to each other with devices that will make our iPhones and Android phones look like Motorola briefcase phones that we used to carry around 15 years ago. And that kind of connectivity will level the playing field and allow the planet to monitor itself and be able to distribute wealth and information in a much more equitable way so that we can share resources and maybe create a sustainable planet. What I'm worried about is whether or not the forces of existing systems and wealth creation that have made people very, very wealthy in certain parts of the world will try to game that network system in order to preserve their power.
In your career as a social entrepreneur, what's inspired you the most?
I was in an Apple store, getting my Apple computer fixed, and the young girl behind the counter, after she fixed the computer, asked me whether or not my name was Andrew Richet, and I said, yeah, why are you asking? She goes, well, you founded Mouse, which is this nonprofit organization that I started 13 years ago to help wire public schools. And I said, yes, I am. She says, well, I'm a graduate of the Mouse program, and if I hadn't taken the Mouse program, I wouldn't have this job. So a small little incident like that in your life where you realize that something that you did to try to help people actually fundamentally change the direction of their lives, that's what's most inspiring to me, and technology drives that.
Andrew, I've learned a lot today. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you.